Okay, so right now I have a bunch of white noise blasting into my ears, so if I can't control my voice or my tone, that'll be why. But I'm going to be showing you how to make a custom sprite. Now, you know what? I don't think I can handle the white noise while I do this. Anyways, today's project is going to be a lot more tedious. There's going to be a lot more speed ups in the editing of this video. Right now, what we want to do is try to figure out the size and style we want for this sprite. Now, I'm making this design right here. This is based off of RapidaWuffmon. And it's the egg that uses applied to this Digimon right here. This is all a fan Digimon, kind of based off the WereGarurumon setup because, you know, I'm a furry or whatever. But anyways, a lot of art, traditional, digital, always kind of starts with rough shapes. And I think that is a great tool to use, especially when, like, you're blocking out a design. Now, most of the time, whenever you make a new sprite from scratch, there's going to be an equivalent kind of style or size that you can reference from the official roster. So I suggest if you find the dim that's on, purchase it, dump it, and look at those sprites and use them, because that's going to be your best bet as to how to learn this style. Now, here we see him. He has a little bit of the side of his face showing here, so you can kind of see that shape, not just like this. So I'm going to try to bring it just a little bit more forward. So I'm going to etch in my kind of general shape for it. Let's see if I can get it. So that's where the nose would be, and give that a little bit, and then we want just a little bit of that jaw. I kind of want to shape it out and bring it in. And then we're going to build up that egg on the head. Okay, now we have a pretty good kind of shape. We can save details for it. Maybe go about right here. And maybe go like this. And because it's Wuffmon, would have that little thing there, might change where it is. Now, it helps if you have artistic experience going into this, but it's not necessarily necessary. A good method, like I said, is blocking stuff out. So when you're unsure of the kind of shape you want, just kind of use different colors and get a feel for where your details are going to land on this, because no one gets it right their first try. It is a slow process unless you're on performance-altering drugs. But that's not what we want today. I hope I don't get demonetized for saying that. Why am I even saying that? I don't monetize my videos. I hope I don't get in hot water as it is. I love the O2 egg designs because it just put an egg on that bitch. It don't matter. I want some egg on him. It would help if I could see this better against the background. I'm probably gonna switch that to a red. Yeah, there we go. That is an eyesore and a half. Oh, purple. Save me, purple. And now let's do the giant blade coming out of the head. Now I've noticed that in a lot of these sprites, the more detail there is, the less of a black line kind of breaking up the details there are. Hold up, let me look at this real quick. Let me see if I can find a good example of this. Grace Novamon, I'm sure that'll be a great example. No, it's not. Okay, cool. Ignore that. Let me... I know of one that I'm thinking of, and it's a rather easy one to find. Where Garurumon? Okay, so... You see, we don't have a black line separating all of these details. In fact, most of them are just color to color and some shading and all that. So, like, you're working with a limited amount of space. If you have to outline every single detail, your design is going to get really unreadable from a distance. So keep that in mind when you do these edits, to really only outline what needs to be separated. Or like if you're emphasizing shadows, you know? Okay, let's see, the ears on this one are... It's more like goes up, back, crooks up, and then comes back. A little bit weird looking, but we can always tweak it. So the best part about working with pixels is it takes barely any energy to fix something that looks a little bit weird, because you just have to redraw only a little bit. Now, as I get to work with the color behind this one, I want to have it separated off so that I can see that it's a different part of the sprite. So, like, that'll do, okay? Really easy to get into. And then the eyes are gonna be like... Now again, I really do recommend, if this is your first time making a custom sprite of any kind, that you reference a lot of official ones if you want it to look like it's in the same style. That will be a key player for making sure what you're doing is gonna look as official as you want it to look. Here. Oh, no. Then we can also kind of make it a little bit more like that. Now it seems the eyes are a bit more... Yeah, there we go. That's kind of getting to the shape we want. Okay. And then we have these lines here. And then that. So again, it's really just blocking out your details. What I would do once you get to the stage where you're gonna start separating your pieces up is you're gonna have one named head, and then you're gonna do like one named body, one named arm, one named like left arm, one named right foot, one named left foot, one named tail. And as you animate, you're gonna have to redraw some, you're gonna have to shimmy it around, but this will all help your sprite look and feel more alive. So I'm going to break this up into a different piece here. I'm going to put this layer on transparency mode so I can see where everything is. And looking at Garurumon now, his form is kind of like, I'd say like that. And since my Digimon is based off of that, and since this is the armor of friendship, I'd say it's a fair idea to kind of get a general estimation for the body using this method. So she wears a collar, so we can kind of draw that out here. big, thick collar. Can't see it in the official art, but I know it's there, because I made her. And so if we put this back on, you know, it looks a little bit weird right now, but he also has a giant hump on his back. Hold on. I just realized that. Mr. Humpback of Notre Dame over here. Okay. Yeah, that would be where the hang up is. Okay. We figured out the issue. I mean, I guess my drawing kind of does have one too, so you know what? Par for the course. Par for the course. Let's add in those little spikes so it kind of keeps that style of the official artwork, because I think that's a really cool touch. So let's take a peek-sees here. You can't see it, but you know, whatever. It's not like it hurt my feelings or anything. Add in that collar. I keep choosing the worst colors for this, man. I'm working with lenses that reduce screen fatigue, but in so doing, I have a limited range of colors that I can actually see that I'm working with. Okay. And let's kind of give her cheek fluff. If I can. It looks a little bit weird, but nothing has to look perfect. Yeah, you know what? That's pretty good. I'll take it. So there we have that. So this will be our body. Hiding this layer, we can now focus on an arm. So we notice that he has giant arms. Bring that down, kind of draw the shape, and pull it into what we want it to be. And honestly, this is just kind of the general process. I will obviously be talking a little bit more as I work on defining the shape to make it more, you know, unique to my Digimon. But for now, that's what we're working with. Let's see, let's use this color. So this is body, this is leg right, this is leg left, and this is this. We can go in and clean up these pixels a little bit. Because again, this is just a sketch phase. Nothing here has to look one-to-one. And what I'm doing is kind of referencing the anatomy of an official sprite to help make my new ones look more canonical. This is a trick that was taught to me by one of my friends. If you've heard of Mr. Evil Gavin, he taught me a lot about what he does for sprite work and how he references stuff, and it's allowed him to have a very on style. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways, it looks really good. His stuff is very professional looking, and I look up to his abilities quite a lot. Now, I know I've only been doing this for a little bit, but I'll get better with time. And okay, if you're struggling with a sprite some days, also, not every day is going to be a banger of a day when it comes to artwork. So if you can't do it that day, don't beat yourself up. It's not the end of the world. Okay, this one is this leg right here. Let's give it a little bit more shape to it. Okay, and now all that we really need to do is fit the tail in there. So let's flip this. Okay. It goes like this, and 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 it goes like this. Okay. So you just kind of literally just eyeballing it. I don't have much advice for if you're new to art and this is your first foray into the subject, but I can always give tips. If you want tips, you can ask me, but a lot of this is just experience and kind of going with your heart. You won't ever get better if you never try in the first place, so really just, if you are stuck and feel like you're not good enough, you know, don't beat yourself up. No one's great at it the first fucking try. I ended up, when I was a kid, I was doing sprite work based off of Pokemon. I was going on the website Spriters Resource and downloading all their little assets that people had ripped from the game, and I was just using them to make my own. I would cut them apart in MS Paint, and I would make my own trainers. That looks a little bit weird. Now, here's something you could do. We're still in the sketch phase. It doesn't matter. It really does not matter what you do at this point. You're just trying to get a general shape for something. So, I'm gonna try again. You know, I might see if I can. Okay, let's see. My idea is that it's curling in up on itself. I'm gonna see if I can define that a little bit better. And I am doing this with like a desktop mouse, so it's a little bit harder, but not the end of the world. You can use a tablet, whatever you want. Kind of a fun shape, honestly. Kind of a weird one, but I think it, you know, it's a shape. Is it giving I'm confined to a 48 by 48 canvas? Because that's what it feels like. Okay, we're going to turn off our reference layer now, and I'm going to put all these in here and slowly. Okay, so it seems that against this you can't really. Oh, jump scare of my first sprite. Anyways. I need to hydrate. I've been talking. Ugh. Okay. So this is where we're gonna start our refining process. At this point, you can have a reference pulled up for what an official one looks like. So like say right here, we can pull that up. Have that there and just kind of reference it. You don't have to match the style 100%. It's your own art style, man. No one's gonna beat you up if it looks like your own art. If anyone tries to, you probably shouldn't be hanging around them. Kind of on a roll here. So I'm not gonna fully outline this. I'm gonna put it where the details kind of need the emphasis, and then I'm gonna start filling it in with my own colors. So I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna take some of these because they all share the same color palette, so I'm just making sure that it's continuous through all the evolutions. Now, if you're looking at dims and want to know which ones to avoid artistically referencing, I personally have the biggest fucking gripe with the Impulse City dim. It was so ugly that it made me want to learn how to mod my original Vital Bracelet. I just could not stand how it looked. Now, I think I'm gonna kind of cap this tutorial once I get the head sprited, as to not eat up too much of my computer's like storage, because I'm recording it like a raw file. So let's see here. I'll put some shading here for the mask because it's sitting on the face, and then we can put a little bit of shine on the bridge of the nose. She does have her marking here, so we can put that in. Kind of blend it into the scene a bit. Over here we have my original colors for the nose, so I'm going to pick and choose from that to kind of create a depth of field. And let's get some of the black for the details here. Now you'll notice once we start outlining it, it all starts to come together pretty quickly. That is something I've always really enjoyed about this. It's really nice once you get going. You kind of enter a flow state. Okay. Do the eyes. Thank you for watching along as I do this. I hope that this tutorial is helping you. Let's see, looking back here, I'm gonna color pick this, as this is a color I do not yet have on this character yet. A darker color. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. To help it pop a bit more, I might make a new color between this and the kind of shading layer here. Just make it a bit brighter so that it stands out more, especially against the lighting on a Vital Bracelet screen. And color that in. And fix this up some. Add in our lines where we need them to be. Help create that shadow look to it, because that's what's gonna help make it pop. Go over here, take, let's say, right here and here. And if we were to put those over here and here, I think only the one will be needed. Then we have this horn part here. I'm going to hide this briefly so we can see our colors a bit better. I know I'm not speaking too much. I am very focused, but I figure you're probably watching as a visual learner for this, not listening along, so we'll probably be just fine, you and me. And let's say you're making a sprite of an official Digimon. I think always having a reference pulled up on the side is going to be your best friend. I'm gonna do that, make it a little bit more friendly looking. Now let's see if I go like this and set that to luminosity. Just kind of that here. Keep the lines. There we go. That looks pretty freaking cool. Merge that with the layer below it. And then we have a helm detail right here. It goes like that. Let's see. Kind of like that. If I can get that to look right. Okay, I'm gonna bring this down just a little. Boing. Put it back where it was. Yeah, I will cope. I will cope with this. I'm gonna use black to shade this, just to, again, make it pop against a darker screen. And I know the sides of her face are white, so let's bring this back open here. Let's kind of erase around the edges. Gonna make a layer beneath it to help block out the tufts. We have one that goes like this, and then one that starts to curl upwards. Checking Discord real quick. Okay, back to look. I find that sculpting every single fluff is going to be a little bit hard, so you want to pick the ones that are most important. So let's kind of block it together here. And we'll notice that we have kind of a little bit of a, almost a hairdo going on the side here. Take this color here, kind of paint it in. Go back to your top layer because you're going to need to affect it. There you go. Kind of have the generalized shape and silhouette of the tufts. It's really condensed, but again, you're working with a 48 by 48 sprite. What are you gonna do about it, you know? So use your various colors to add depth as you go. And kind of dot it along, create nice little textures. And now we're just to the ears, and that's it for the head, and that's it for this tutorial. I hope that you have enjoyed watching along. Okay, I'm gonna need to There we go. Sorry. There we go. Keep that. We can keep this one honestly in the shadows because it's in the background, and doing that kind of helps create contrast. We're gonna want to draw in her earring because she has a giant friggin' earring. Well, it's not really giant, but it's moderately sized. You can get the colors from this. Get the colors from this. Oh, jump scare. Ah, that will be an issue here in a little bit. Let's see that. Okay. Ooh, jump scare. Use this color as an edge piece over here to kind of create smoother gradients. Again, this is really just artistic flair. Whatever you want to do, however you want it to look, it's up to you. You are the one who puts the pixels on the canvas. Only you can do this. Only you can stop forest fires. That's what Smokey the Bear says anyways. Okay, zoom out test. I'd say that's pretty readable. I'm going to give this a little bit of a highlight color to help it pop. Let's just start with it being white so that way we can see what we're doing. Kind of drawing in an edge for it. Let's make sure that this is that. And then doing that for this piece too. We're going to take this and just bring it down. And put this here. And you know what? I think that's pretty much it for the head. Let me add in a little bit of highlight. Dude, that's the head. Might change it just a little bit more in post, but we have a head drawn. I think that's pretty cool. You apply this principle to the rest of the thing, making each piece move and work, and you're set.